Barstool Rugby fans, how are we doing? Back for Man of the Match Wednesday with the Seawolves. Super excited for these interviews today. I'm going to talk to Huw Taylor first and then move on to Divan Rossouw for our Man of the Match forward and back, respectively. So super excited for them today, like I said. Coming off a tough loss for the Seawolves. Went down to New Orleans. Lost in a close battle there. Was a real defensive match and a real exciting match at that. I'm going to send the invite over to the Seawolves now, and we're going to get started. Looking to get a good perspective on kind of moving forward in the season as well. And then we'll also talk to the players about getting a better look at them and some of their rugby journey as well. So super excited for all of that today, and thanks for joining us as always. So we'll get started when the Seawolves join, and we're good to go.
Hello.
Huw, how are we doing?
How are we?
Very well. Doing very well. Thanks for coming on today, my man. Great to have you. My name's Saucedo. Just a little introduction for myself. I played rugby at the University of Utah, so fellow rugger myself. My kind of goal with these interviews here is to get a little, a look of you as a player, and then also your organization, kind of the team, and how the season is working out for you guys as well. So super excited to have you on today, and thanks for joining us.
No, perfect. I'm happy to be on.
Yes, sir. Yeah. Definitely. So yeah, how's the body feeling after that game?
No, all good. A little bit sore Sunday, Monday, but yeah, we just had another big training day today, so now feeling fresh, now ready for the weekend again.
Definitely. So yeah, just to give an introduction on yourself, he was in his first season in the MLR, but he has spent 6 seasons in Wales playing for the Dragons RFC and the URC. He's made a big impact on both on and off the field as a veteran for the Seawolves in the forward pack, and he's been a great addition to the squad this year. To start off, let's talk about the game a little bit. Tough loss, obviously. Kind of a close one there. Came down to the end. We saw some great rugby out there, of course. I thought you guys put up a great performance overall. But, got to give credit to that NOLA squad. They brought out, heat on their end. And, we're able to kind of find those gaps and make those scores happen when needed. What does that kind of result mean for you guys at this point of the year? Moving into those late weeks, have a good record right now. A few more matches left before the playoffs. How does that feel for you guys?
No, 100%. I think it's a little bit frustrating for us. Obviously, I thought we went really well in that first half. Everything we sort of put as a plan went to plan, and then that sort of third quarter, it didn't quite work out for us, and defensively and kicking wise and things, we weren't quite as good as where we could have been. But definitely it was good. We were down to 14 men at one point, 13 men, I think, and we come back and get that 2 points at the end, which could be significant at the end of the season. So, yeah.
Yes, sir. I'd like to talk about those kind of point differentials, right, are really important at this point in the season, especially in the West right there. You have Houston, 4 points ahead of yourselves, and the Seawolves, Jackals, I think Legion, Jackals, somebody else after that, LA, I believe. So, those point differentials really come into play late in the season, and we're looking for that kind of moving forward in these last few weeks here. You guys had the lead at the half, like you said, kind of after that big try from you yourself to finish off the first half. How does that feel going into the locker room, and then what was the focus for your forward pack kind of coming out into that second half?
So a big focus all week really was around putting our drive on top of them and stopping their defensively drive as well, and then getting as much as we can at scrum time, which was didn't go quite our way at times on the weekend. So no, I think they did, all credit to them, to be honest, and we'll just try and get a bit better next week. We've got 2 big games before our bye week, Dallas next week and Old Glory at home on the Friday. It'll be 2 tough games, but we're hoping for results, and then we can kick on then for the rest of the season. Yeah.
Yes, sir. Yeah, definitely. So you talk about kind of those sessions in the middle of the week. Those are really real important to kind of these late weeks. It's not necessarily about making those big hits at practice. It's really about honing in your craft, making those skills to perfection, getting those skills up there, and kind of getting ready for those next few matches. Tough loss for you guys, but I think this is kind of the to say it, for a great team, this is kind of the best time in the season to have one of those losses, right? I think it's a great time to kind of put everybody's perspective and attention kind of back to that one point, and really put that motivation back into you guys, moving in these last few weeks. Great teams kind of need sometimes, those big challenges kind of move forward through and kind of make those big strides, moving towards the end of the season. So very excited to see you guys make those, and really excited to see this match on Sunday. Kind of what takeaways from this match moving into this big match against the Jackals on Sunday?
So I think obviously Dallas have a decent drive on them, their attacking drive. So we just got to make sure we get our role right, like you said. It's not always about hitting each other as much as you can in training at this point. It's just making sure everyone knows their detail, getting around that, and then just going back to what we're good at as well in terms of keeping hold of that possession and going at that seawall defence as well. Keeping our discipline below 10 penalties is what we talk a lot about as well. Yeah.
Yes, sir. Yeah, that's something that Coach Latho talks about as well. I was able to talk to him a few weeks ago during the bye week, and that was kind of one of his things as well, was playing that 80 minutes of rugby, the Seawolf way. And then as on the other side of that is, keeping those penalties to a real minimum. And that's kind of one of the focuses for you guys, and it has been throughout the year. So it's kind of been great to see you guys progress with that, and then, kind of see how that plays out in these last few weeks here. And then moving into the playoffs, obviously there's going to be kind of those little tiny things that really make those games go either way. It's been great to talk about the game. Had a good perspective on that, and love to hear kind of your view on that. My favorite part about these interviews is to get a better look at you as a player and kind of your rugby journey. I'd love to start off with the question of, how do you find rugby, and then what keeps you in the game today?
So obviously it's been everything to me since like an early age. My dad played and my brother played, so, and then being able to do it professionally for 10 years has been pretty amazing. And then to have this opportunity to come out here and play against different players that I've never played against, and go to different cities to go and play, and living in Seattle, me and my wife Kelly are loving it. So yeah, I can't complain.
Definitely.
Yeah.
No, you professional rugby before the MLR, right? Lots of professional rugby played around the world, and you were able to spend some time in the UK over there. What has the switch been like from that kind of URC over here to the MLR in the States? What has that been like for you?
No, to be honest, it's been pretty seamless in terms of the way Clarkie's ran things over here. Very sort of similar, but also a nice positive spin on it, and get a big family culture over here as well. So it's been really easy for me and Kelly to come over and get to know all the boys and their misses and things as well. So it's been pretty seamless in terms of the rugby. I wouldn't say there's a massive difference in terms of standard. The physicality is just as much as well, and the skill level's getting better and better every year in the MLR, from when I've watched it for the past sort of 4 or 5 years, definitely. Yeah.
Yes, sir. Yeah, the level of play has really been going up. That's kind of one of the things we've seen this season, is that pretty much every game is real tight, regardless if it's a team that's first year in the league, or a team like yourselves who have been in the league for a few years here. There's a lot of strong teams and a lot of strong players. One of the things that I've been talking about too is that whatever 15 guys are being put on the field, they're being put there for a reason, right? The professional rugby players, these guys have earned it. These guys look the part, they play the part, and they do the part as well. So kind of you talking about that is puts that in perspective really well, and kind of that level of play there. One of the things that I've been talking about with some of the guys as well is kind of that team dynamic that you speak on. What has it been like to learn from some of the guys from all these different kind of cultures and backgrounds this year in the MLR?
Oh, no. Definitely. Obviously, we've got a few South Africans who have a different outlook on it, like Ricky Rijkaard, and so it's been good to learn off him in terms of the lineouts and around the field stuff. And then obviously got a few Aussies and Kiwis, like Matt Mason and Cammy Orr, Sammy Windsor, and then the Kiwis like Chuck and Charles Alton and KP. So it's been good, yeah, different. So like in Wales and England, it's very much around like set piece and defensive, emphasis, kicking emphasis. Whereas over here, everyone's sort of looking to play a little bit more, and so now it's exciting. It's good.
Definitely. That's great to hear. I was able to actually spend some time over there in the UK during high school, and I kind of seen that same similar thing. Is that kind of their kind of rugby style is really based off that set piece, like you said, and it's really about kind of making those moves real tight and real direct. Have a lot of detail kind of in the backline plays there, and then off the lineouts as well. So it was great to kind of see that for myself and kind of put that in perspective, and then kind of watching that Southern Hemisphere rugby as well. It's real different, like you talk about, and I think it's real cool for me to witness kind of you guys coming together from all different parts of the world, all different backgrounds and stuff, and just playing together at a high level. It's been great to see for me. So thank you for that, and we'll kind of move forward here with that. What was my next question? Next question, what are a few pieces of advice that you have for kind of younger players moving up in the ranks and trying to get these high level opportunities?
I think it's just little bit of patience. I think sometimes you're not going to get your opportunity straight away, and even if you do, you may only get one opportunity, and then you'll have to wait a while to get the next one. So I think as long as you're doing everything you can individually, and you're reaching out to coaches to keep pushing to get better and better, then you just got to have a little bit of patience and just things going on, injuries,
A little poor connection,
etc. And so those opportunities will come, and just make sure you're in your best place, ready to take them.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Definitely. Sorry about that, but definitely, I've heard that from a few guys here. Coach Lava talked about that as well, as kind of being ready for those opportunities. Making sure that you stay ready, not having to get ready, making sure that each day is kind of focused on kind of that big goal, right? It's not, the big goal isn't really to do a certain thing. It's really just to play rugby, right, at a high level. Spend your days playing rugby, and that's kind of the best way we can do it, right? That's kind of all I have for today. It's been great talking to you, Huw, and getting your perspective on the game and rugby as a whole. Thanks for your time, and best of luck throughout the rest of the season.
No worries. Thanks again. Cheers. Nice to meet you, mate.
Thank you, sir.
Cheers, pal.
Yes, sir. All righty. We're going to move on here and move to our second interview. Now we're going to talk to Divan Rossouw, a little bit about him and talk to him about kind of the rugby now, joining the Seawolves and kind of his journey, throughout the rugby world. So real excited to get into that, and we'll go ahead and get started here once we get the join on. May need to send over one more invite. Working on getting them on here. Should be good to go here in a second. Maybe send one more over. I'm not sure why we always have trouble with this. I think it's on my end, but we will get it figured out here. Send one more invite over, and we should be good to go. Looks like they're on now. So. Thanks for joining, guys. Appreciate you guys coming on and watching our interviews here. Getting to our second one now, back to the match from last week's matchup for the Seawolves against NOLA. Sending the invite over now. Divan, how we doing, my friend?
Hey, good in yourself.
Doing very well. My name is Saucedo. I'm with Barstool Rugby, and we're here basically to get a better look at you as a player, and then kind of your organization as well, and how that season's working out for you guys on the Seawolves. So great to have you on today, and thanks for coming.
Yeah, thanks for having me, and nice to meet you.
Definitely. So a little bit of introduction about this guy here. Divan is an established rugger. He started his professional career with 40 caps on the Blue Bulls in Super Rugby. Since then, he's made his move to the MLR and has also represented his country of Namibia at the 2023 Rugby World Cup, making 3 appearances there in France. Great to have you on today. Kind of talk about the game here and then moving kind of yourself as a player. To start off, let's talk about that match. It was a tough loss there, but great rugby being played on the pitch there from both sides. Kind of have to give NOLA their credit. They really brought the fire and thought they played great rugby on their end. We're kind of able to find those gaps late in the game, and couldn't capitalize on it, but played some great rugby, and you were able to score that try late in the game. So kind of made it tight there, and moving forward, it's looking good for you guys. Like I said, you guys have been on great progression kind of throughout the year. Faced plenty of challenges, and this is kind of another one in that road. Talk about what this game means to you guys kind of moving forward. What are those steps to kind of get back in the win column for you guys next week?
So just on the game, obviously, not a great loss for us. I think we played really well first half, and then second half, Nola came back with a fighting spirit, and we just had a few moments. So I think like a mental lapse, few individual errors, and that ended up with us being in our own half of most of like second half, and that gave Nola the opportunity to capitalize and score some tries and get points. So just for us, I think that's a big learning curve for us, and especially in terms of like game management, just to like play in the right areas of the field, and then especially our discipline, just to tidy that up. We have to concede like less penalties. So that's something we've worked on in the week, the specific areas where we normally concede the most penalties, just to try and get that number down, because that obviously gives teams the opportunity to get into a half, start getting those mauls going on a 5, and that's what we want to take out of our game. So I think the weekend was just a good learning curve for us as Seawolves, just to try and tidy up our game.
Definitely, no. And one of the things I talked with Huw about a few minutes ago is that I think for great teams, right, some of these challenges, are kind of beneficial in a way. A loss like this is probably the best time to have one of those losses, right, moving into those late weeks. Great to kind of have that moment of kind of realignment with the boys, kind of getting that focus back to a point. Right. So far, I think it's really going to push the guys to kind of, put tough loss. You were able to energy.
Sorry, just can you repeat the last part? Your sound just cut out.
Sorry. I was going to say, how did it feel to shift that energy a bit in the first early part of that game with your try?
Sorry, just wait one more time. Sorry, I think it's good now. Sorry.
With the try in the early part of that game, what did it feel like to kind of shift that energy?
Yeah, I think it was great. Like, I think our first half was probably one of the best first halves that we've had in the season, especially like, I think we got 2 tries in like the first 10 minutes, and we just were cracking at their defensive line, especially in that first half with the forwards playing the tip options in our pods of 9. So that was really great to see the forwards actually bringing that sort of like flavor and attack to the game. So that's where we want to build on that, especially like coming from a loss, like there's always a few positives that you can take and build on, and I think that is especially the areas that we want to build on. And then, like I said, the second half is more of the learning curve for us.
Definitely, yeah. No, the Forge really played some great game there. Attacking the ball and kind of addition those options off the pods. I thought it worked really well and it was really effective for you guys. They really brought the kind of dynamic thing that you guys really needed in that attack space, and I think kind of going to move forward in the rest of the weeks very well. One of the things I talked to Coach Lathro about as well. I think you guys, played that first 40 minutes real well. I've been talking about, and then kind of that second 40 kind of fell off there. Played some great defense, were able to score a few tries, but just couldn't capitalize on all the, kind of push. All that in the second half, trying to solid defense. You guys made that late push, and you scored another try in the game very late. Kind of made that last push there. Kind of what are the takeaways from this match? Moving on to another big matchup against the Jackals this weekend.
It's like I said, it's just like for us first off, taking all the positives from the game, like you just mentioned as well, just taking those, focusing on what we did well and what worked out for us in that first half, and then we really want to try and build on that and take that into the Dallas game. And then, like I said, second half where we made some errors and ended up giving Nola like conceding points to them, so we want to take those like areas out of our game so we can focus on obviously getting more positives so we can have the scoreboard in our favor.
Definitely. Yeah, 100%. I think it's going to be, one of your guys' biggest focus the next few weeks. I think, this is going to be a great game this weekend. It's really going to kind of put into perspective how the playoffs will kind of seed out and, how that first round is going to go. So really excited to kind of see that this weekend and, hope for a big win from the Seawolves as well. Really excited to talk about the game here and, kind of want to move into yourself as a player a little bit more. My favorite part of kind of these interviews is to really hear about, your player stories and stuff like that. One of the questions I like to start off with is how did you find rugby and then what keeps you in the game today?
So how I got to rugby is more or less just I think it's where I grew up. So coming from Namibia is very close to South Africa. So it's more of the similar culture, I would say. So yeah, most of my family, all my friends, everyone, they've been playing rugby. So I started when I was 7 years old. In primary school, we all started playing rugby, and it's just been like a culture thing, more or less. And then I just progressed throughout school, and then obviously after school, I moved to South Africa to start playing professionally over there.
Yeah. So kind of talking about you're in the academy with the Blue Bulls there, and then make your appearance in Super Rugby there. You had 40 caps in Super Rugby. What was the experience like for you in Super Rugby, and then how has it helped you progress as a player in your career?
Yeah, no, that was obviously immense. I think it's something that if you're from those areas, especially like Australia, New Zealand, South Africa, that you dream of playing Super Rugby. It's probably it's the top level of rugby that you can play apart from Test rugby. So that was very good for me, and I enjoyed it a lot and learned a lot from it because you get to play with and against some of the world's best players. So enjoyed that a lot and obviously learned a lot from that.
Definitely. So you had that experience, and it's kind of one of those higher levels of rugby, aside from Test rugby. Now moving into kind of this past year, I guess, of your rugby career, you're able to kind of make an experience in the World Cup there for your country. How did it feel to kind of represent your country and then get that start against the All Blacks there in the World Cup?
No, that was I think that was probably one of my highlights of my career. Just the experience of being at the World Cup. We were probably really fortunate, actually playing because we played New Zealand and France as well, with them being the host nation. So we played at sold out stadium. So that was really great playing at the Velodrome with 80,000 people, the crowds and everyone. So it was really good.
Yeah. No, that had to have been a great experience. That had to have been a great experience. Kind of talking about that World Cup and that. One of the things I talk about with Coach Latho as well is those World Cups are really a time to kind of take it all in. Time there and really get kind of take it and push it off to other ruggers around the world, right? I think that's kind of the best part about rugby, take things from other people and how we spread it as well. And our own experience, kind of how we move, use those to kind of push the game forward. So great to hear about that and kind of your experience there. Moving past that, you've now found a place in the States with the Seawolves. What is this experience? What has this experience been like for you? I've heard about that team dynamic a little bit. Kind of talk about that.
So I think my time at the Seawolves at the moment, I've really enjoyed it and it's been really great. I have to say I was surprised about the quality of the league. I think it's at a really high standard. If you're listening to most people outside, they would say maybe it's not as of high standard yet because it's a new league, but I must say I've been really impressed with it. I think there's a lot of very high potential and talented players in the league and some good coaching. So you can see especially this year I think if you look at previous years at the log, there's a lot of teams that win all their games, a lot of teams that mostly lose almost all of the games. And I think this year the league's pretty balanced. Any team can beat any other team on the weekend if they don't pitch up. So that's been really great coming into the competition at a high level. And I think especially with our group at the moment that we have at the Seawolves, we've formed a really tight bond between each other and have a good culture going. So I've really been enjoying it, and I think that just that carries over onto the pitch, and that's what the fans can see with our games going 8-2. I think that's really a resemblance of our good team culture that we have at the moment.
Yes, sir. No, it has to be, right. I think great teams, have to have that kind of team dynamic, that team culture. That brotherhood's real important, right? In rugby, there's 15 guys in the field. It's never, that one guy making the win or making the lose for somebody, right? I think it's really, coming together as a brotherhood and, making those decisions on the field together is real important. So great to hear about that from you. Aside from that, we've talked about kind of throughout the year the growth of the MLR, right? One of the things I was able to talk about with Sam Windsor a few weeks back was kind of how the league's grown in the past couple of years, and you kind of talk about that as well. The level of play, the level of professionalism, high, and it's really growing up and it's growing. It's kind of great to see, especially this year. There's a lot of teams, going not 0-8 and be real even this year. It's been great. So kind of moving forward with that. It's been great to talk today and get a few pieces of advice. What are some things you have for younger guys in the game who are still looking to get these on the pitch?
I would say advice to younger players like trying to crack through to the professional scene or that's just gotten into it and want to get better. I'd say just to watch as much rugby as you can so you can learn. You can look at your position and learn what the top guys in the world are doing at the moment. And I think that's probably a way that I did it as a youngster. I used to get told just to watch rugby and that's how you learn when guys start playing tip passes, when they're kicking, why they're kicking, all of that. If you can start watching that and just try and take learnings from that, I think that is probably the best. And then obviously biggest thing is just to enjoy it and then train hard as well going with that.
Yes, sir. Divan, thank you. It's been great advice and great perspective from you today. Appreciate you having me on and taking the time to join us today. So thank you very much and best of luck this weekend.
Yeah, no worries, man. Thanks for having me. And then, thanks. Have a good day.
Sir, you too. Go Seawolves.
Cheers.
Perfect. All righty. So that's going to conclude our interviews today for this week. Thanks for joining, you guys, and thanks for coming on and watching us. It's been great to talk to these guys and kind of get their perspective on, how the league's moving, what their season's looking like, and then how their journeys have gone in rugby for themselves. So it's been great to do that, and great to kind of go on this journey with them. Very excited for how the rest of the season's going to play out. And kind of this weekend, I believe Sunday in Dallas against the Jackals, Seawolves matchup. Not sure what time that game's at, but going to be on Sunday. Super excited for that and to kind of see, how the rest of the league shapes out this weekend as well. So thank you for joining us today, and we'll be back next Wednesday with some more Man of the Match interviews. Until then, we'll see you later. Thank you.